to me, the secret to success and the secret to life, it is a master your mindset. It is constant development of your heart muscle and your mind muscle.
Welcome to the Measure Success podcast, where we talk with top leaders about effective strategies that inspire success. I'm super excited to have Tommy Breedlove, my friend. This is the coolest CPA I've ever known, and that's saying a lot. But let me tell you a little bit of background before we get into it. First of all, I have his book right here, Legendary. If you've not read this book, it is fantastic. He has reached. This is not a small thing
Carl,
because I'm
that's
an
a
author.
OG copy, brother.
I know. Well, hey, I gotta go on the early ones, right? I'm old school with this.
Long time
But
ago, yeah.
USA Today, Wall Street Journal, that's not easy to hit those things, by the way. I mean, just I don't mind saying this, being an Amazon bestseller is like easy. But to become Wall Street, that's not easy. He's been at Deloitte, Georgia grad, UG, go dogs.
Go dogs.
Uh, and he has these great retreats. And by the way, we got to talk about we've been trying to get me to your event. We need to get there. Seriously, I'm booked out 26, but 27, I need to get there, Tommy. So I just want to let you know I'm gonna committed. I need to get here to 2027 dates. He speaks everywhere. Tommy is actually he's wearing this cool new blue shirt. If you're not listening to this online right now, he's like, he doesn't even have these type of shirts. He said, I got this shirt now. And he is going to
First time I ever
Croatia.
worn it. First time ever because I'm going to Croatia.
That's pretty awesome. But he's spoken at Toyota, HSBC, Cushman& Wakefield, Exit Planning Institute, among others. He has a loaded deck, and more importantly in all that, he's going to be emceeing our 40 Strategy Growth Conference for the second time
Yeah.
here in November in Phoenix, Arizona. And he's going to speak as well. Last time he kind of had this little speaking thing. Now he's going to have a bigger speaking thing. Tommy, hey, welcome again to the Mentions Podcast.
I am so grateful to be here. That made me smile. Hey, first of all, writing a book is hard. So any of the authors that are listening or people who have put like Lost at CEO, it's an art, and kudos to any author out there. Just writing a book's hard, and seeing that copy is amazing. And yes, this is a brand new shirt. I've never worn it, but I've had it on for about 20 minutes. I'm not kidding on that. I put it on. I'm like, I'm going to look nice for Carl today.
I'm so happy because I'm gonna come around here for a minute. So hang on. So I I almost put on this shirt for you, Tommy, and it would have been like identical but a different color.
Yes.
So I like literally only put this on because like Tommy's legit, so I gotta can't just put my 40 strategy stuff on all the time. But we went just black, which is my preferred color, or lack of color, however you want to describe that. But
I want to give you some
all right,
props,
hey,
Carl. As someone who runs a lot of live events, we run some big events, we run intimate retreats, like you said, and everything in between. And from, just the production to your team, to the quality of the speakers, to the quality of the people in the audience, kudos to you. It was all borderline flawless, and then it took us 5 years to get a workbook right. You did it the first shot, so kudos to you. Kudos to I'm excited to MC. I'm excited to speak. I can't wait to see who's coming this year, and it was really well done, man. So thank you.
well, that once again coming from you, that means a lot because this is what you do, and you do conferences regularly, and so that was very meaningful. And it's just for us, as it was kind of our pilot,
Yeah,
and to have it to work out so well, and we have the second one, but we're just getting going. This is the beginning of many. And my goal is to get to 10 to 12 of these a year,
I love the
and
intimacy of it too. I think that's what makes it special. Is
yeah,
people connecting, people doing business and life together, people learning together. Clearly, if they're there, they want to be better than they arrived. And that was just really cool. But the intimacy of it to me is special. The 40, right? Everything you do is 40, but the 40, I think that made it, I think that's the sweet spot. And I think you hit it nail on the head.
it what really surprised me the most, Tommy, I think of all of it, because I am not what I'd call, well, this depends who's talking. My wife's like, I'm super emotional, but I don't think business wise, I'm super emotional. And it was a pretty emotional event, like meaning people's heart and soul came out of that because, and I think it had to do with the intimacy,
Yeah.
right? When you're in a group of 200 or 1,000, or you're in a stadium, you're not gonna bare your soul as much. And people came there and just they couldn't avoid it because you could see the whites of people's eyes, everybody in the audience, because it's a relatively small room,
That's
right?
right.
and so it fit, like literally everybody fit in the one room. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, what's super cool too is the quality of speakers. Trey Taylor, another best-selling author, he opened it up. You really opened it up, set the tone. But he opened it up, and he, as someone as successful and what he's done in his life and what he's been through, I think he opened it up. And then your coach, Scott, came in and just crushed it. And then what I loved about it too, and I can't remember the gentleman's name, the financial planner who said, I'm not a professional speaker. He was nervous because there were some professional speakers on the stage. And he got up there and what maybe was the best speaker of all. So, so it's just, you can watch the rehearsed band or you can watch the new band, but the new band always does really well. So it was, and the quality of the content, the quality of the takeaways, the buy wins. Hey, we're not talking theory here. This is tactical. Now go execute this. And those of you who will go execute this, you will be elite. Those of you who don't, we'll see you next year and we'll go again.
Well, what has been cool, Tommy, is because we have this follow-on cohort and of the, you know, this about me. I love strategic planning, but I hate it when it doesn't get done.
Yeah.
And and to see year over year actually people progressing. You know what I mean? People taking from that conference and taking the ideas and concepts, and from some are running of their own, some are working with us more closely. Just crazy results, which is, of course, that's what makes me happy to get towards this. But Tommy, first of all, thank you for talking about that conference. I'm super excited for you to be there.
You didn't pay me to do that. I just
I know,
believe in what I
I
said.
know, I
And I go to a
know, I
lot of them,
know.
man. I go to a lot of them, and I was like, I told Ben and Erica, two members of my team, were lucky enough to come. I was like, they crushed this for especially your opening. I mean, this was opus, right? I mean, this is it, man. And it was just so good, so good. And I don't say that. It's just good to see. I haven't had a chance to talk to you. I don't think since Arizona. So great to see you. Well done. Can't wait to come back. We're going to throw down and change some lives and hopefully make a lot of success as well.
Yeah, amen. I mean, it's gonna be awesome. I'm totally looking forward to all of that, and it's funny because I like you, my calendar from here we are recording this into July 3rd. Can you believe it's ended? Can you believe it's July 31st,
No,
2026?
it's we're going to talk about. I have a feeling we're going to jump into some business fear here in a second, but that's frightening because I'm 52 and things aren't slowing down, and I don't want them to slow down. I want to live to 152, but it happens so fast, doesn't it?
We're same age, Tommy, and so I'm with you, and it is
You're marrying children. You got naval academy. You got all the things going on in your life.
yeah. First kid got married this year. It was crazy. Just that was very surreal, the whole experience. But we're gonna have fun today talking about, well, fun, I'm not sure. This might freak some of you out. When Tommy and I were prepping for this, I literally got the hairs in the back of my neck as we were talking about this conversation because I'm like, what do you want to talk about? And you're like, so for those who don't know, Tommy talks with people, he coaches people who are nine-figure
Mm,
type people of wealth. So we're not, and I don't want to, it doesn't matter, once again, just to clarify, if you're in a spot and you're an entrepreneur startup, or you are quote unquote just have a few $1 million business, don't feel bad about the comment I'm making. But what we're trying to point out is whether you are a startup or you have somebody who has nine figures plus in your bank account or in your wealth dial, there's a level of fear that exists right now that's different, I feel, than other past fear things that we've had. So I want to turn it over to you now. Tell me what you're hearing, experiencing, feeling with your clients. And so let's go there.
yeah, we'll start. And I want to preface this too. No matter where you are in their journey, one thing and I'm not sure why this happened. Maybe because I am it as well. Most of those people, I would say 95% of the people I work with, from startup, I would live in more the business owner, entrepreneurial, business leader world we have five that are worth personally nine digits, and we just had our first B. But I wanted everyone to hear this. This year, he became a true. We use that word. Just because you've done a billion in transactions doesn't mean you're a billionaire. I mean, if you worked at Cooper's or Deloitte or Price Waterhouse, you did that when you were 23. But we had our first B. But all of these people came from nothing. And so getting to watch that, seeing the trends of it. But what I'm seeing right now, Carl, so anyone can do it. There's a formula to success, and there's a formula to resilience, and there's a formula to discipline and consistency, and there's a formula to failing forward. But what I'm seeing right now is this overwhelming, and I'm going to tread lightly here, fear of, I don't know if it's political fear, social fear, but people not moving, people not pivoting. The world is
Mm,
changing. AI is
mm,
changing. Economics are changing. But those who are winning don't get into the noise. They don't do the same things over and over again and expect different results. I know that's cliche to say, but man, I see it real time. We've had people in my mastermind program, and I mean this. We had a guy who knew in 3 years he was going to go from a $15 million company to a $7.5 million company. In 3 years, he said, 3 years from now, I'm going to lose half my revenue if I don't do something about it. Guess what he did in 3 years? Nothing. Guess what happened this year? He lost half, 7.5 million in 1 year. What does that affect? All of his employees, his marriage, his kids, his life, his sanity. And this is a guy that works with, and so I take it personally, and I'm looking at myself in the mirror. You can take them to the river, you can show them the river, and he's got all these people. He's got people like Carl, and we run in the same circles. And people like it's like, hey man, we've got to do something different. We got to pivot. We got to transition. We got to look at your business model. We got to look at new opportunities. And he just couldn't do it. And so I don't know what's causing people to do the same thing over and over. I don't know. I'm looking at trends of what makes the elite, but there is this fear. There is this lack of movement. There is this kicking the can down the road. And frankly, it pisses me off a little bit. And I know how much, Carl, I know how much you invest into your company, into your professional development. It would frighten you to know what I'm at this year in my professional development, from coaches to outside consultants to mastermind programs that I'm in, because I don't want to become irrelevant. I don't want to be scared of technology or trends. I want to be in it. And again, we're putting so much into it. My wife and I are putting so much into this. Hell, I'll just say it, man. So this year, we're on our professional development. We're spending 375 grand, because that's how important these humans are to us. That's how important our customers are to us. That's how important our lives are to us. That's how important. But I don't want to make the same mistakes. I don't want to be the Tommy of yesterday. I don't want to be that leader. There's people in this office right now that I care that much about. There's clients I care that much about. So anyway, soapbox down.
well, so
Soapbox down.
yeah, yeah, there's a lot of different things we can unwrap there, but one is, one of the last points you made, which is the importance of investing in yourself. I love this goes back to Zig Ziglar, and people like them just saying, hey, if you Darren Hardy talks about all the time,
And
10%, right? 10%. And you could use different numbers. I don't care what number you use, but you should be reinvesting in yourself and your business about 10% of your revenues per year. And that's what's going to help you to get to the next level. And especially in the amount of change that's taking place in the market, you can't afford not to. What's crazy about the story you said of the 15 to the 7 is when he predicted it.
3 years. And he was spot on. He did nothing.
And that's the innovator's dilemma.
Oh, well said.
Okay, so this is a massive problem. This is Tommy, this is why I'm so excited about our CPA firm right now. So most CPA firms are doing, this is your world, our world, where we came from, right? CPA firms are over 70% at retirement age or older. Okay. They don't want to take on new clients because they're in this coasting phase. They're frightened whether they could sell their firm, and so they're selling to PE as
Yeah,
fast as they can.
as fast as they can. Yep, I'm seeing it.
PE is piling massive amounts of debt to these firms, which is going to put any extraordinary amount of pressure to those who are working on it. AI is and we're doing it. We're all in on this.
Yeah.
And remember when Trent said it freaked you out when at the conference? What did he say? Remember he talked about
Yeah, he
in
said a lot that
software?
freaked me out. So Trent's whole speech, I had to hide under my desk for a second, speaking of fear, and then I had to, put my big boy pants on and have to sit back in my chair. So Trent's whole speech scared me. On
So,
the AI.
and once again, by the way, Trent's coming back,
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
you didn't know this. He's like he's speaking. He can't find time to be at home now. He's in so much demand, and you'll blow away what he's going to show. The new software he's developing. I can't. I don't
Yeah,
want to steal a thunder, but I'm just saying, folks. People are creating opportunities right now where they think is going to be a job for 10 years, and he's getting ready to automate
yeah,
that.
right.
And what does that mean, folks? If you're like an AI widget person and you're like building little things, they're getting ready to automate this. Anyway, my point is this: if we are not investing and going crazy in what we're doing, we will be irrelevant. We won't be on the other side, right? And going back to, I'm sorry, I'm just going to touch on the CPA firm. I'm so excited because we're doing things differently. I built this without a partnership structure where I have to worry about people's paying this retirement, right, so to speak, and putting these things, and I have to raise my price, and I don't, because I see prices falling like crazy because of AI,
Commodity.
and
Yeah,
these firms are going to capitulate. They're going to capitulate, Tommy.
they are. They're not going to. They are.
Yes.
They
Yes.
are. This is a world I'm intimate to, so I'm with you, brother. And you're going to have such an opportunity from technology to customer experience to the actual value add. And I'm not diminishing the compliance, but I do think compliance in 5 years is gone. I mean, I do, and rightfully so. But the opportunity for a world class CPA and a business consultant and someone to sit there, the experience for a customer is still going to be there. The business owners are still going to be there. The people who are moving and shaking are still going to be there. We're going to pivot and change and use this technology to its fullest. But your opportunity right now, if you do it and do it well, it's fun to sell to private equity because they pay you a lot. It's awful to be a customer of theirs, and you're talking to someone who represented private equity for 21 years. They're just not good at a lot of things, but they're very good at making numbers up, but and making money until they don't make money because it's just a debt stack, right? It's voodoo, and it's going to be the next S&P. It's going to be the net internet bubble. Private equity, eventually the piper is going to pay and the debt won't match. And I don't want to get into that specifics, but you, my friend, and people who are listening have an opportunity to do it differently, faster, better, and people are still going to buy people. Period. They're still going to buy how they feel. They're still going to buy safety. They're still going to buy a person who can lead them from the front, who's doing it. And so AI is awesome. It doesn't know where to begin and end, and it doesn't know where the pauses are, and it doesn't know how, like what Carl and your group does. It doesn't know how to look someone in the eye and say, "Okay, we've got you. Let's go forward, and let's use those tools to help them
Oh,
go forward."
so just a couple things there. So yeah, our little firm has gone from 2 to 10 in 1 year.
That's 5x, brother. I hope you're hugging the wife and high fiving the team and all the things, man.
It's
Like, that's
awesome. Yeah.
doing
So
it.
yeah, it's so fun. So we're just like little company turned into something, and so that's fun. And you could just sense the excitement. Like we're starting to get. I'm starting to get CPAs following me because they're like, what is this new thing, right? Like I literally have a call later this afternoon with somebody that I couldn't have recruited a year ago, who's now looking to come join us,
Oh
right?
gosh, yes.
So it gets sense of change, but there's something that's really fascinating. I had a client. This was an eye-opening thing. This was a non actually they're a financial client, but we're working on them strategy, and they sent me this like really complex thing in AI. You could tell they generated an AI like when they did the research. It was like a compensation structure thing. It was almost too complex,
Yeah.
and I was like, I didn't have it, in this particular case. And so I, of course, I did what I would naturally do. I ran it through AI to answer.
Hey,
Okay,
Claude, what do you
but
think of this complication?
yeah. So anyways, this is kind of a funny story, but eye-opening. I curated it though. I really did curate it. I really went into detail and I really like tried to understood. And then I sent it back, but he could tell it wasn't fully me. And he said, Carl, don't you ever do that again.
Mm,
He said, I hired you for your 30 years of experience in business. I did not hire you for AI because otherwise I just would have answered it myself.
Mm.
And it was just, and it was this big aha. And so one step there, and I'm gonna have you respond here in just a minute. What we're realizing is, first of all, the data has to be right, and AI still is wrong a lot. I'm just talking about basic debits and credits.
Oh, it's very
S-
wrong.
Small business accounting is crappy, and we're here to fix it, right? So that's the first level. Second, yes, we use AI to make it look pretty faster, but then we curate that pretty picture that isn't fully right. And then we communicate it in human terms so a business owner can make a decision.
Oh, so good.
That's the value. All right. So I want you to respond to that because I'm kind of curious what you're seeing, hearing, or, just
Let's
that
start at the
part.
top. You said so much awesomeness there, from A to Z. Let's start at the bottom, then I want to go back to the top, and then in the middle. The bottom, when you said the debits and credits and small business accounting is not good. In AI, well, that's an understatement, but as the language of business, I think accounting is a language of business, and I think as a business owner, we have responsibilities to at least understand it. And when those debits and credits are wrong, it can be devastating fast. When it's not done correctly, it can be devastating fast when you don't understand your margins and cash flow and ins and outs. It's really, people think accounting is math. It's really a language with math in it. And so it's so vitally important. And if AI messes it up, or automation messes it up, or the technologies aren't talking to each other, depending on the size of the business, it can be really bad, really fast. And then you get to the top. And in my former life, I don't know if this is still the case. I saw lawyers, bankers, and accountants. I'll call them out specifically. I don't know if it's down talk to their clients or over talk to their clients. If you ever turn on a business news network, it's like they almost talk over you. And I'm like, I've been in this industry 30 years and I have no idea what that man just said. If you can, at the top level, and again, going back to it, and your client, I'm going to go all over the place, but when you can sit down and your client can understand their current situation. And what I love about you and your firm, Carl, is you're also future. You're not looking in the past. Here's where we are. I want you to fully understand this. I want you to understand the goods, the bads, the uglies, what we need to start, stop, continue. And that's invaluable. And AI can never do that. Maybe it can one day, it can't do it right now. And it's not going to do it in the foreseeable future. So I think that's genius. Also, your client calling you and your firm out. How cool is that? Thank you for that honesty and vulnerability. But how cool is that? You'll never do it again, right? Your firm won't do it again. And how cool is that? And I related to that. And then I want to make sure I answer any questions or thoughts because there was just so much good there. And if people will listen to what you said, if you can still service and show up and give value and give people safety and give people hope, but hope is not a strategy, but hope with actionable items, right? But last night, true story, I take my writings very serious. I use AI to, I'm from the south side of Atlanta, so my English stinks, my grammar stinks, my punctuation, spelling stink. I can write. Apparently, I can write really well. But I can't do all those other things that's important to writing, like the debits and credits, right? I can't do, I can do certain things. And my Erica, who's on the executive team, she's not, people like, she's your I was like, no, she actually runs the company. And so she last night, because we were running out of time because of our travel schedule, ran it through AI and produced it today after something I had written all day. And it was just garbage. And she was reading it. And I'm like, Erica, I wrote that last night. That's not what I wrote. And she did extreme ownership. She says, I'll never do that again. She ran it through one of the AI engines and it just made slop. And so, yeah, it's, standards matter. Human connections matter. Addicted to excellence matters. And AI, people can see AI. If you know what AI looks like, you can't unsee it. And your client telling you that, hey, I didn't pay, I could go run it through whatever, Gemini, Claude, OpenAI, ChatGPT, but you're 30 years, dude. You can't undo that, and we know where the errors are.
That's right.
30
Yeah.
years of failing and getting it wrong and seeing clients fail and seeing them do right. There's nothing more we can read it, but seeing it in application, it's just genius, man. And I'll stop talking because yeah. Back to you, brother.
So what a little interesting story. So I don't know. So I just said on LinkedIn that we're officially going to move forward with our second book, the sequel to Lost to CEO. Okay, so the story Jack's going to take the next step. So I reached out to my ghostwriter, Ashley Scobie, and who was amazing in the first one. And I don't know if you're called to tell you, but when I first wrote the first book, it was your traditional business book, and it was called The Seven Sails of Success, and Jessica Yarborough, like, called me out. She said, "There's not even a sailboat that has 7 sails." And I was like, "What?" It so I literally, like, totally stopped me in my tracks and rewrote the whole darn
What's
thing,
your
turned it
point?
into the paper, you know? And like you, Tommy, gosh, I think the biggest disappointment when I got into public accounting was finding out how to write. I mean, I'm not a true writer, but I love content, right? I love creating content, and I know how to create stories. And so we changed it into a fable. I did the work, right? I mean,
Hard.
no work. Holy cow, it was 2.5 year experience. This was amazing. So Ashley, who, yeah, she's been hit hard by the AI stuff, by the way, right? Because people are writing books without even looking at them, right?
Yeah.
Quote unquote, because AI engine is developing it. And but I loved it. She was like, I want to be human and stay human. And this book is a human story. And so I'm going back to her, and we're going to do it old school, and we're going to make sure it is a human story that people are going to connect with very intentionally, not using AI. I'm not saying we won't ever use it for everything. I mean, it's great for edit checking and making sure stuff's thing, but I'm going to say it's going to be 95 to 99% zero AI. And because I want people to connect. The best part of the book is when people read it, like, how do you write the story about me?
Mm,
You
mm,
know, and you have that too, Tommy, with your life experiences in your book. I mean, people
powerful.
can experience it, be with it. So yeah, so that's a big piece of this. So that there's it, sorry, this is a tangent, but I think related. There's a reason why sports is being bid up so much, sports teams. It's because it's one of the few things left that's real
It
and
bonds
will be
people.
real for the foreseeable future, right?
Yeah.
Well, kind of real, mostly real.
Yeah.
Um, so then how do we, with what we do every day, how do we create these real experience? Obviously, what you do is creating these real experiences. So let's go to the next part of, like, I want to keep on going down this fear train. Bubble or not, the stock market, we're near all-time highs again. I know people have been talking about this 2030 crash for like a decade. You could kind of see it potentially happening for so many different reasons, including the baby boomers. You know, our generation is the gap. We're the gap generation. You know, you and I, Tommy,
Yep.
right? And thoughts on that? I mean, is that underlying some of this?
I think so. I think we've always. So I'm a huge. I'm going to answer your question about the stock market, and let me start there, and then don't let me digress. I want to go back to the beginning of this country because I think it's important. If you look over my shoulder, half of those books are about our founding fathers, and you think we were divided now? Phew, states were shooting at each other back then. So let's keep it real. We just have internet now. That just it's real time and real nonsense as long and this is I'm just going to say it because I believe it and I'm going to be unapologetic about it. Let's say I could tell you the stock market's going to crash, Carl. I can't tell you when. Of course it is. It's going to have to reset. It's reset multiple times.
Mm.
The harshest being in the 30s, right? The Great Depression, at the end of the 20s into the 30s. Um, because we did some things wrong and we learned. As long as we stay a capitalist, free market, democratic society, and that's something I will fight over. Period. And I worked in international business. There's a reason everybody wants to come to this country, right, wrong, or indifferent. There's a reason. Opportunity exists here like no other place on earth. So I'm just going to say that. No matter when this quote crash happens, no matter yes, we have too much debt. Yes, the dollar is being devalued. Yes, there's macro and microeconomics, and we're tied to so many things. As long as we stay. and democratic, capitalist, and a free market with some boundaries, right? And that
Mhm.
see the 30s, see the bumpers.
Yeah.
Um, we're going to be fine.
Yeah.
Period.
Yep.
Period. If we mess with that, then that stock market crash, yes, is it going to hurt? Of course. Yes, is it going to sting? Of course. But what if I was anyone listening on this, whether it's 2030, 2027, 2060, maybe some of us won't care if it's 2060, triple down, man. And
Mm.
you don't have to triple
Yeah.
down on stocks, a specific stock, but you can triple down as long as we're a free democratic capitalist. There are options out there where you can invest in the whole market. QQQ, NAS, all of them. You can invest in the whole shebang. Triple down because you're buying it cheap, and that's what it's going to do in the history. As long as we stay what we are, it's going to grow. And they're like people. I also hear people saying, "Well, it can't grow forever." It will reset, but then yes, it can grow forever. If you have any spiritual sense, of course it can grow forever.
Yeah.
The universe is expanding. Anyway, I'll get off my side. So, who cares? Um, it will be important. Yes. Will it matter? Yes. For those of us who see what it actually is, as long as we stay in those three parameters, again, free, democratic, capitalist. That's the thing. Be careful what you wish for on the other side of that. So,
Can you hang your
jump in,
thought for a second there, Tommy?
jump in there.
Because if anybody's reading the Wall Street Journal, I've never seen the Wall Street Journal more freaked out about socialism in a long time. And
That's
because
real.
they could,
That's real.
right. And that's what you're talking about.
That's what I'm talking
And,
about. And
and,
I will fight against it. So I'm gonna put it out there. You can hate till there's no hate tomorrow. I'll stop.
yeah, no, thank you. First of all, thank you. And because like you, I've traveled a fair bit. And, one of my favorite recent conversations was meeting with a man from Cuba who was, in an Uber. He was an Uber driver. And I was like, "Hey, how was life in Cuba?"
Uh,
And he said, "Well, I could work. I was a lawyer, and I could work as hard as I could, but I was making the same as somebody who was, digging ditches next to me.
yep.
There was no opportunity." I remember being in China where when people were making 100 million people were making a buck a day, right? Doctors, attorneys, lawyers, researchers, engineers making nothing
Yeah.
for the effort, the talents that they have and that they've created, right? And this is where my faith side is like, it's okay that we have different talents to create and give. And when you bury that talent, do nothing with it, your talent is going to be given away to those who will do something with it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so I like you. It's interesting. I think there is going to be some level of change, but I think at the end of the day, we've been ingrained enough properly with this country. I came from nothing, Tommy.
Same here.
You came from a lot of known many challenges in countries with caste systems, and countries where people consider that you can't be any better because of your city block. Where I came from, like in Lynn, if I didn't have that opportunity, I would have never got out.
Yep.
And this country enables you to do that. And we start saying you can't make a certain amount of money, or because of what block you in, you are going to be constrained. It's the greatest differentiator that this country has over everybody else, and it will continue to be the reason why we'll continue to lead in the future. And if we take that away, it would be a shame.
It not just a shame, it would be a travesty. And this whole movement of is it fair? That word just yeah. I come from sports. I come from winning. Winners. You know what winners concentrate on, Carl? Winning. You know what losers
That's right.
concentrate on? Winners. Is it fair? He earned it, and we have spent trillions in Africa. The U.S. alone has given trillions and trillions of dollars, and it has just been used for corruption and division and suppression. So we could take all this money and give it. You have to earn it. There's a whole philosophy behind that too. I'll get off that. But here's the thing I know for sure. I had the honor, and I fell into this, of working. I was the international practice leader of a very large CPA financial consulting. It's a big firm. And I had the pleasure of eventually becoming, I was in the international business, and I had the pleasure of working with people from all over the world who invested in the US and put companies in the US to grow. And not 1%, 100% of them, whether it was Canadian, German, Africa, Asia, Japan's got it going pretty well right now. They do it right. Just FYI, if you want to know a country that does it right, like it, because they followed us, and so 100% of them said the biggest opportunity from business law to our economy to our constitution, this is the best place in the world for anyone to become anything. Even in Japan, there's a caste system, right? I mean, there
Yeah.
really is. And go to
Yep.
India. If you think, yeah, go to India, you'll see it fast. But I've never seen a people who have it so good that want to pour gasoline on their head and light a match, because I have talked ask instead of talking about immigration, go talk to the people who have actually immigrated here in the right way. Every country in the world has borders, by the way, for a reason.
Right.
For a reason that, and we can't. You and I could go down a diatribe, but go talk to people who immigrated here correctly and ask them why they immigrated here and ask them the result of it. And they are probably the most pro-American people you'll ever meet in your life,
Mhm. Oh,
because
yeah.
I've met not one, thousands of them in my former career and in my current career. So again, yes, our news, we've always been divided politically, socially. We're humans. We have different opinions. But people who are stuck right now, we are feeding a victim and entitled mindset, and that is danger, danger, danger.
Yeah.
It's us versus them. It's danger, and we're doing it now at a level with social and 24-hour news. That's that's where the fear is coming from, because it
Mhm.
sells. Fear sells. When you're selling a free product, you are the product, right? And so, but for us, again, and I will say this, no matter what happens to us economically, when we have the reset, when we have uh, recessions or depressions, whatever it might be, we're going to be fine as long as we leave the system intact.
Yeah.
It's when we don't do that. And you can look up the Soviet Union, you can look at China, you can look at Nazi Germany, you can look at imperialistic Japan. See how that worked out for the people. And so, yeah, I'm with you, brother. I think that's that fear. But again, right now, access to info. Let's talk about the positive. Access to information, access to people like Carl, access to people who are doing it, access to people who want to make a difference and impact. And we make an impact through business in this country. The reason we love sports is because it's competition, right?
Mhm.
It's competition, and we're not all created equal. I can never go play basketball against LeBron James. I would get smoked, and I played basketball. But I could beat his ass in business all day, every day. All day, every day. Bring it. But see the fun in that.
Mhm.
And Carl, you beat me one day. Hopefully, I'll beat you the next. But we're rooting for each other along the way. It's not an us versus them. Let's root for each other. And I think success is an easy formula, but it's simple, but not it's simple but not easy, right? Because not everybody will do it. I'll get off my soapbox, brother. Back to you.
No, no, I think I'll just my simple mic drop is we just gotta put Animal Farm back in the schools.
It's right. It's over here somewhere, man. And you can do 1984. You can do Animal Farm, and even better, the flip side of that is this guy,
Yeah,
Atlas
Atlas Shrugged.
Shrugged.
There you go. There you go.
You can
Yeah.
see when it's that's also related to that, right? And this woman who wrote this book, Atlas Shrugged, she was Jewish, Russian, and her family went through when they went from Bolshevik to communist, and her whole journey was to escape and how horrible it was. And so she was called in life when she immigrated finally to the United States as a Jewish free person who finally escaped that craziness that happened in the Soviet Union, and wrote about how great this country was in a fable, just like Lost at CEO. And it's just a very good book of someone who actually lived it. That needs to be Animal Farm and Atlas Shrugged needs to be mandatory reading.
Yeah. Yeah, there's such wisdom, right? Because what we, um absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the core of it,
Yeah.
right? And yes, I understand people's concerns with the current president and the feelings that they have. Like, by the way, I grew up and I've been on all political sides, so to speak, throughout my life, if you may, being raised a certain way and trained
Of
a certain
course.
way,
Of course.
and different things. And so
And you
let's
live
get
in a
off of
state that's very divided.
yeah, yeah, totally. So I get it, right? But um, but once again, the opportunity for I keep on going back to that people can have the opportunity
Ugh,
to 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 maximize their talents, and they're not going to be said withhold because, like you said, it's not fair.
yeah.
And and that at its core, and that's why once again I get excited about when whatever stage somebody is in as an entrepreneur, business owner, or even if they're in a PE like type level. What's fun is it's almost always solvable
Ugh, ugh.
if you're willing to, like, not like your client you mentioned who got cut in half. It's solvable if you're willing to change your paradigm to understand where it's going and what we have to do next, because you have to get away from how you're making money today to what you're going to have to make money in the future.
Yep.
And that's scary for people when they're it's like the story of Netflix, right? He fired the entire well, initially he let them be in a different boardroom. He stopped meeting with them because they weren't going to go away from mail order CDs,
Mm,
right? And
mm.
the whole automation digital thing would have never happened if they didn't change the whole management team because they were stuck in the way how they were making money. And we have to rethink how we're going to make money. And I'll go further than this. I mean, it's always fun to sell. And if you could ever sell a 20p or better, multiple or better, just go. Okay. Right. But,
And good for
but
the people that do. It's the aftermath of the people
yeah,
that
that,
continue going that's so bad.
yeah, exactly. No, exactly. Exactly. But what people forget is the oil well is the real magic. When you can get something to be a sustainable oil well, I have just by the way, Tommy, I have zero intent of selling my company, the 40 accounting company. Zero. I plan to pass it down
You
to
can do it
I
at
plan to
ESOP
create
or
an
ESOT.
ESOP.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
am. I'm gonna go ESOP route.
Yeah, yeah.
So the employees and the team can benefit in the future and will continue to be a sustainable long-term entity to make a difference for small business. That's where we're in business. And so that's why once again that issue of the comment of
Man after my own heart.
maintaining capitalism is so critical. Honestly, I could argue it's a fear thing, but I tell you what, it's we know it's the best thing. And by the way, those employees, like I loved what SpaceX did. I loved it with that amount of people who became multimillionaires and sent to it was awesome. That was the best.
So cool. Yeah. And Tesla, even I don't like the way they look, but I love what they do.
Right.
I just wish they'd make a sexier car. It's not to my eyes, but man, how they've done it, how they've unapologetically, I couldn't agree with you more. And to that point, Carl, you and I are kindred spirits. Of our original employees when we were up and coming, we have two different companies. We have a very bougie boutique hotel, and then we have Legendary. And Legendary is so compatible with what you guys do. We have one original employee, so she knows this, but we're educating her on what this really means. And it's Erica. She's the last one, and she's the. And I'll say this because you're a CPA and you know money. And I've been in business in my life for 31 years. And in 31 years, I come from the financial world like you. In 31 years, I've had one employee ask me, how do I become you? Or how do I make
You're
more money?
good.
How do I become successful? How do I become X amount of, or a million or whatever it might be? One. And you know who it is? It's Erica. So she's doing budgets. She's doing investing. We have if something happens to Heather and I, because we don't have children, we have for sure she has 2 years of salary guaranteed. So we're not going to, it's a thank you to her. But she has an opportunity, and those of us who will stick with us, we're going to do an ESOP as well. Yes,
Awesome.
you and I will benefit from a tax standpoint and some evaluation standpoint, all the things. But I'm with you. I want to leave something bigger than me. I want to leave a legacy, and I want the people behind me. I do. She's a better speaker than I am, and I'm not saying that to be self-deprecating. I'm saying it because it's true, and those who see her speak will know. So why not help her. I'm not pulling her. We're walking side by side for her to become Tommy Better 2.0. So I'm with you on that. And it's the opportunity is here, access is here, information. You can use all of the tools we talked about, whether it's AI, books, humans, the internet, but it's not always right. But there's a reason all these books are there, and there's a reason I read all of them is because I want to stand on the giants before me, and I want Erica to stand on us when she goes to leave this world. So the opportunity is here. And it's one of the few things that I get so passionate about it. And people said, you're almost religious about it. No, I was like, I'm not almost, I am. It's the one of the things that I really, really am passionate about. So back to you, brother.
Okay, so thank you. So we're gonna go a little bit longer, folks, and there's a why behind this because um, we've been talking intentionally a lot of fear today, but we've been
Yeah.
talking about also some ways we've been talking about hope in there and how things get, you know, there is a better way.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're coaching your clients today on this fear, how are you helping to change their strategies,
Yep.
change their way of thinking so they don't go from 15 to 7? I know once again, it's hard to like because that's an existing thing, but I'm just saying, what can we do to prevent that in the future so people will change?
It starts with what you said, and I don't even know if you know you said it. To me, the secret to success and the secret to life is and this isn't Tommy saying this, this is the greats. Again, I stand on the shoulders of giants. It is a master your mindset. It is constant development of your heart muscle and your mind muscle. And that doesn't sound like business strategy, but if you suck, your business is going to suck. If you are mentally and spiritually and emotionally weak, your business is going to be weak and it's not going to be sustainable. And so there's tools and tactics and again, eliminations that you have to do. You have to eliminate a lot and a lot of people and a lot of noise. But what we concentrate, like we do the hard skills. We talk about strategy, we talk about scale, we talk about how to utilize leverage to scale, systems, people, capital, content. I mean, I got all that. And we do that and we talk about it as do you, and you bring in thought leaders to talk about all of those things. But to me, it has to start with us. It has to start with being mentally and emotionally superior. We're not going to be awesome at everything, but we have to be awesome mentally because things are going to happen. Life's going to happen. Tragedy going to happen. Pain's going to happen. Economics. People are going to run planes into buildings. That's going to happen. But those that can continue to walk through the fire, those who can put on their pants and be men over boys and women over girls, those who can walk into the fire, and when life happens and it's going to happen, they say, okay, I've got this. And they look at it as an opportunity. They look at every failure as an opportunity. They look at every devastation as an opportunity. They look at, when people, like Warren Buffett said, when people are scared, double down, man. And those are the people that are going to win. So for me, and we can get tactical on how to do this if we have time, but to me, constantly cultivating that mindset. Um, I don't want the clients anymore. And one said this recently in our highest level program. A guy said, "Well, I took a risk on being here because it's a big investment to be in our big level program. I don't want people to think like that." And that's a mindset thing because he's scared. He came in it as instead of, "Hey, I have access to all these people who are doing wonderful things and I want to follow what they're doing." He still got that fear, right? Of So to me, it's a constant battle that we all face because I mean, how many days a week are you like, why am I doing this? Like, looking at, can I make payroll? And as you grow, it gets worse, right? And in the pursuit of freedom, it gets very complex. In the pursuit of simplicity, it gets very complex. Um, but those people, the resilience and the discipline, but the resilience of working on that mindset, not allowing thoughts to come in, not allowing people in your life that are mediocre, not allowing the naysayers and the haters. And you know this, Carl, the further you go up, the more the hate and the more what you thought were friends become enemies. But there's a real art to it, and there's an integrity to it too. And I don't want to undershot. I know a lot of successful people who did it with a lack of integrity, and I almost was one at 36.
Mm.
Um, and that's not sustained. Success quickly is easy. Sustained success is very, 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 very hard. And to me, and I'll give some to it. Like if you read The Millionaire Mindset, you read Lost CEO, you read Think and Grow Rich, you read anything by Darren Hardy, it's all, it starts with here. It starts with your brain and your heart. And if your emotions are driving, it's not like feel and grow rich, it's think and grow rich. And so the ability to think, the ability to strategize, the ability to want and know that wanting is okay, the desire to be world class and badass. But it starts with your mind and heart. And it's like a muscle, man. And I know when my muscles are getting weak, I'm not kidding. I wish I could show you right now, because we're growing, we're investing, we're moving. We've had a lot of turnover because of our growth, and I'm not unapologetic about it. And we've set standards that people are like, I don't want to meet them, and that's okay. But right now, I'm reading A Millionaire Mindset. I'm reading The Road Less Stupid. I'm reading a simple book called A Pocket Full of Money to work on my brain because I felt it was getting a little weak. Or maybe I just stayed here and I need to just press it a little more. I need to run a little faster, right? Instead of like lowering. So I'm working on it as we speak, but I think it's a constant battle and I think it's a muscle and I think we have to do it. And I feel like I'm talking too much. And if we need to get tactical, I'll get tactical. But I'm telling you, real time right now, I'm reading those books for a reason. And my next book for the sixth time, and my executive team and I are going to do it together, Think and Grow Rich, for like the sixth or seventh time because it just never gets old. And
It
it's
it,
right.
it really it really doesn't. It is interesting how there's certain books that there is just principles that are so true. Because it's so easy to be trapped into the scarcity mindset, and
We're
because it's
raised
easy.
with it. Most of us are raised with it.
Right, right,
Right.
of course. I mean, gosh, I mean, I know people that are way above my pay grade, and they have the fear of God that they're gonna lose their next penny, and it's almost crippling, right?
And
Um,
not fun to watch and sad.
no, it's crazy. Like when you have somebody and they're every day watching CNBC, seeing if they're gonna make it, and it's like, are you kidding me? You could still lose 90% what you have and still be fine for the rest of your life. And it's like, so does it matter? And but
In this country, also, they could start over. If I lost 100%, they could start all over, right?
right, right, right. And it's interesting that that goes to something. I think the people who get fear the most. Okay. So here's are those who don't want to work anymore,
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
right? Because when you don't want to work anymore, you just want to be paid. You know what I'm saying? So I want to be careful what I'm about to say here.
We've
I
been on the line all day, Carl. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, I respect and understand where like, hey, I've done whatever I've done my whole life. I've been working my whole life, and I want to retire, and I want to play golf every day, or I want to go to the resort every day, or I want to whatever it is every day, and it, it's okay. It is okay, but don't complain when the stock market goes down
Yep.
because you've chosen that if you've put your bet on life on a third party to survive, that's where you've made your mistake.
That's right. That's right.
You shouldn't be putting on the government. You shouldn't be putting it on the stock market. You shouldn't be putting it on we need to, that's where I go back to, create oil wells or create opportunities where we are creating sustainable value over time, right, behind it. So it doesn't matter when those other things are happening. I don't know what your situation is telling me, but I never look at my stock portfolio.
I set it and forget it. Mine is so simple, this is one of the best books I've ever read called The Simple Path to Wealth. Mine is so simple, I set it and forget it. I never
Yeah.
look. I never have
Yeah.
looked. I was shocked, I just moved 401ks to something else anyway, but I was shocked at what was in there. I was like, "Hey, winning." Never look. It's been 20 something years since I looked at it.
Yeah. No, it's funny because, like, once again, I can look at it and I can make decision of saying I don't need to work again.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't I don't believe I was born to bury my talent.
Let's stay there, Carl. Let's stay there. I was fortunate enough and worked my way onto my biggest stage ever, and I think I announced it at your event last year, the Exit Planning Institute, and that's a big
Mhm.
stage to be on.
Uh-huh.
I was probably the first non-celebrity that's been on it, and so, which I don't know what that says. But I did a lot of research. I wrote it for that group because they're helping people sell their businesses. But the aftermath when people sell, if they don't have a new purpose, they don't have a sense of validation and value. They've poured into their employees, they're poured into their company, they've got up every day and fought the fight. And for those people, the data is terrible. It's terrible from depression to 80% more likely in 1 year to be on another prescription medication. That's not good, man. Uh,
Wow, I've never heard that one.
yeah, it's crazy. Like I went down the rabbit. I'm a data guy like you, but I went down the rabbit hole of data on that, and that was really my speech. Was you've got what are you planning for these humans after the transaction? Don't just plan for the transaction, which is important, right? But plan for the human and the leader who was a doer, who was a maker, who was a builder after the transaction. That was my whole speech. And by the way, and I'm just going to give myself some credit for once, is I was the highest rated keynote ever for that conference. To the owner of the guy who founded it called me and goes, "Hey man, you killed it," because I was honest. I was vulnerable. I wasn't up there entertaining. I talked about my life and what it looked like when I did these things and when it didn't have. So to your point, even those folks, the guy who's I'm telling you, the guy who made and he doesn't even care that it became he just simply doesn't care about that. He's 73 years old. He looks like he's 50. Go with that, right? Because he honors, but he's always working on his heart, soul, and body. But guess what he's doing right now? He literally called me 3 weeks ago and he's building another company. He's like, I don't like what's happening in the sports and entertainment world. I think it's crap. We're going to do it better. And I'm like, well, you have the influence in the market. And so now and he's from California. So he wants to change some things that are happening there. So now Golden State is one of his clients. The 49ers are one of his clients. So, he 75, and he's just doing it. Now, is he still sitting on the beach some? Yeah. Is he traveling more? Yeah. Is he concentrating on his grandkids? Yeah. Does he play golf? Yes. But 20% of his life is empowering his executive team to do something different in the sport. That's called purpose. And I don't think I'll ever retire. I don't think I ever want to lose my talents because I don't want to lose my brain and my heart. But I also want to make a difference. And you and I are going to be worm food. But if we leave this earth purposeful with a heart full of gratitude and as little regrets as we can, we've won. And so I'm with you on that. The data, and I wish I had it in front of me, is awful for those of you who do nothing. It's awful.
Oh, the amount of people who after they retire Scott used to run an insurance agency, and he knows the numbers of people who retire and their health just completely declines. I mean, once again, this isn't an always statement, just clarify. People are like, "Oh, I know this one person." Stop it. We're
Yeah.
talking about overall, right?
Yeah.
Overall, the statistics are not as good as you would expect. And I love that of like, what are you going to do next? Because what here we're talking about work, 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 work. People are missing out. And Tommy, you're going to Croatia coming up to speak, and that's why you got your, you know,
My new
brilliant,
shirt.
nice blue shirt.
Kudos to
I
Heather Breedlove for the new shirt because I would never
Yeah.
go out and buy a shirt like this.
But my next here, August through December, I'm going to be traveling. I'm going to be, I can't say this fully, but definitely during the month of October, I will not be in my bed as much as I'm in my own bed. My choice. But what am I doing? I'm going to conferences that make a difference. I'm going to see my daughter play college soccer. I'm going to
That
see my son
that just makes
at,
me almost wanna tear up. I love that.
I'm going to see my son at flight school. I'm going to, I'm going to be seeing things that matter and make a difference. And, and, and so, yes, as I can, but why not just stop her? Like, I'll go nuts, first of all. And by the way, I got 4 over last night, a 9-hole course, which it's a short little guy course, but meaning it's like, I love her. Like, I'm not enjoying it. And by the way, that was with my son, my other son, who's not flight school. My point is to have it fulfilled. I'm not talking about work, 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 work,
No. No.
but I'm talking about having purpose and living your life and once again fulfilling what your talent is. And even if you're quote unquote retired, man, go back and start mentoring young people.
Yeah.
Teach
Yep.
them what you learned, right? Even if you do it for free. you know, we have a duty. I think we have a duty to follow through and make a difference. So yeah, that's why once again we like show so much is that we've seen the difference. And once again, it's this other side. It's the slippery slope. And then the funny part, and this isn't funny, Tom. You've heard this story beforehand, but some PE guy I know, his buddy played golf with every Saturday, counting down the days of retirement for like years, like the days. Week later, he retires. Week later, he's walking down Tampa Bay along the street. Guy in a van
Mm.
on meth
Yeah.
crosses over the barrier, crosses over the road, hits him, kills him dead. Why are we waiting for freedom when you could have freedom today?
Yeah. Indeed. And freedom is just choice. And we're all regardless if you're a W-2 career, you still have choices to live free. You make a difference when you're there, make a difference when you're home, have some fun, live life on your terms, and nothing is guaranteed. And hate the saying, let's save for a rainy day. Why does it have to be rainy? Why don't you save for a sunny day, man? And I love the rain. So it's just, again, it goes back to mindset. It goes back to when I have this and when I have more. Well, the choice is really the future is today and the past is today because we don't have that. We have now, and so I'm with you. And it's I think people like you and I are fighting the good fight. It's not about when. It's not about more. It's not about the. I've had. I used to make incredible amounts of money when I was a young man, but I worked my ass off for it. But I wasn't happy or fulfilled. I was lacking purpose. I was lacking in I didn't even know who I was, and so I think that's why the heart, mind, and soul work are so important. And people think, "Oh, that's woo woo." Nope, it actually is the key, and you are passing it forward. I mean, think it's flight school and the Naval Academy and soccer, and and God willing, we'll make a par when we play golf, and all the things. That's what life's all about, man. And doers do, builders build. But I think you and I want to bring up the next generation of doers and builders. And I mean this with all my heart and soul, and I'm going to knock on wood. I know for a fact if my wife and I lost everything, we just do it again. I'd come do tax returns for Carl and build the empire at the same time.
The it and it what's we'll get wrapping up here. This has been awesome, by the way, and I hope once again this has inspired people and part of
Or
like,
piss them off. If it pisses you off, and
well,
forgive
I
my
hope it pissed
language,
you.
look in the
Yeah,
mirror.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's well said. That's well said. And two, if it like, well, it pissed you off and you're like, well, I need to do something about this or change, call us, email us,
Yeah,
right?
please.
I
Or
mean, because
call and
our
cuss me out and tell me why you're cussing me. I'm open for it, man.
right, right, yeah,
Yeah.
because there's a way to get to change it. And it was really cool. So my other son Zach, who's working in the firm, he was working for finance and wealth management, and there was a whole path there, as you know, Tommy. And he was looking at doing the IB firms and all that stuff, investment banking. Sorry for those who are familiar with that term. And but he wanted to come up to coach his old high school team, which made a difference in his life, which made a difference in my life. And so he's like, "Carl, Dad, in this case, he's like, I want to come join you, but I'm doing this because I want to coach football."
Mm.
And it was interesting. Last night we were playing golf, and I kind of heard the story beforehand, but he's like, "You may have heard the news. I got offered because he was coaching the varsity staff last year, and they still wanted to coach the varsity staff, but they said, well, you could be the offensive coordinator to coach the JV team." And what an honor, right? He's only coached a couple of years, and he's like, and he was a little worried to ask me because he was worried about what I was going to approve it or not, right? And I'm like, of course. And I said, your work obligations, but this is your purpose, is to help give back on the football field, and then it brings you energy. And when you have that and you're feeling that, I want you to have both, an and, not an or,
Ugh,
right?
so good.
It was cool. It was cool, and I'm glad he asked, but it was like, of course, and if you can manage it, you can do it.
Yeah.
And so it was fun. It was really fun conversation, and we had went to the bar, have a little drink afterwards, and just kind of celebrated the moment. And because he's getting ready, and like he's going to be like, have about his free time is going to be Saturday afternoon to Sunday morning.
It's go time. Yeah, it's go time. Yeah. But he's chosen it, and he's gonna love every second of it.
Right.
He's gonna love every second of it.
All right, Tom, we could get rolling here. First, we'll do that little swag thing. We're gonna do this live. This is funny. I've never done this. We're gonna ready for this. We're gonna selfie this right now. I'm gonna selfie a picture. You looking on there? I think I could pull this off. Okay. Now, is that gonna work well? I don't know. There we go. Oh no, wait. I gotta pull this off better. This is like not good for radio, by the way, nor TV. This is like really awkward, but we're gonna do it anyways. All right, there we go. Okay. All right. Um, Tommy, this is awesome. I expected as always. I'm super proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
Congratulations on
Vice versa.
being the best speaker ever.
Yeah, right. I've been the other one. I've been one of the lowest rated at one time in my life, and I don't want to talk about that. But for right now, I'm on top of the game.
Hey, that is a huge honor. Have a great trip to Croatia. So you need to text me a picture of something ridiculous that you see when you're out there. And then finally, for those who have been listening this whole time, and how can people connect, learn more about what you're doing?
I gotta have a moment of vulnerability here. When I left my house this morning, and then this will be quick. I didn't leave it how I wanted to leave it. I have this aspirational standard. Did I make a legendary choice? And that is such a big word. That's why it's such an aspirational title. And I got to be very vulnerable. I didn't like the way I left um, Heather this morning, who's my wife. And at the beginning of this call, I'm looking at it right now. I apologize. I let my emotions get the best of me. Please forgive me. During this interview, she said, "Thank you, and same here. I apologize. You're the most important. I would love to talk through what is in your mind right now. Any chance for lunch is on the table. I have a break after one." How cool is that? How cool is that, right? And so that's what we've been talking about this entire episode in two text, fail forward, do it better, learn, aspire. Um, Anyone who wants to hang out and work on accelerating their success, minimizing their failures, and you just heard one of mine. I'm just being honest. I mean, I literally sent that, and I was fully present, all in. I just had to get that off my chest right at the beginning of this call. So if you saw me look down on the video, that's what I was doing, and then I stopped. Um, Look, we want to help people we want to help them be successful in who they are and what they do. But if they want to hang out, learn what Legendary is all about, whether it's a mastermind, we do our live experiences are world class. A lot of people have been through them. Carl one day will grace our doors here in the Appalachian Mountains. But here's what I want them to do: reach out to me. Hey, if you like what we said today, check out Legendary. It's in all the bookstores. If you're not a reader, I will read it to you on Audible, as will Carl on his book. But if you want to know more, email me directly. Tommy at livelegendary.today. Tommy at livelegendary.today. We'll talk about you. We'll hang out. You can call me and cuss me out or whatever if you don't like what we said. But Carl, this has been an honor. And thank you for letting me share that vulnerable moment. It's everything we said in this call and more. So just wanted to share that with you.
Hey, that's first of all, that was pretty awesome you sharing that. And hey, it's interesting. This is why I hate Instagram and Facebook and all these things. The other day, my wife made a comment, bless, you know, it well, it's great. But she made this comment, she said, "Oh, they look so happy because they showed 10 photos and they're all smiling in it."
They
Thank you.
didn't show
Thank
the
you for
fight
that.
over breakfast, did they?
Yeah, exactly. Look, like it's easy to smile for a moment in an instant in a picture where, by the way, they're taking the best picture that was available of the 12 that was taken, or 100, depending on, or 1,000 if you're a teenage girl. Um, Sorry, folks, for that. That's you.
That's
Um,
it.
or not sorry. Maybe I should say not sorry. Um, but the reality is we're all human, and I have these things with my wife as well. Have issues with my kids. Well, we're just human beings. Um, the difference though is, are we willing to solve it
Yeah. And hold
and make
ourselves
it better?
accountable to behavior that I didn't like in myself, right?
Yeah,
And own it.
yeah,
And
yeah,
own it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And as I always like to say, and I'm a dirty rotten sinner like everybody else, right? And we all, we all are. But the good news is we can forgive. We can ask for forgiveness. We can forgive those we're with, and we can move
Give
forward.
ourselves.
And I think that is a big part of us, of why we don't escape as humans. We don't forgive our parents. We don't forgive our background. We don't forgive all these things. And folks, yeah, I am not a psychologist, and I never will be a psychologist. But I can tell you what, when you can forgive and feel like you've been forgiven,
Yeah, man.
it's the most powerful thing in the world, for you have the freedom to move forward and to make a difference. Because we're all fall short of the glory of God. I mean, let's just call it what it is, right? And so anyways, thank you, Tommy.
I'm
It
with
is
you on that, brother. And
awesome honor
I'm
to
going to
have
give
you on.
one last plug is we've got to learn how to forgive ourselves. We got to quit beating ourselves up because our mentor, you and I, we'll give some shout out to Darren Hardy. We're flawsome. We're flawed and awesome. So we'll give some shout out to him. But guess what? These world-class entrepreneurs, the best thing we do is called the Legendary Retreat in the Appalachian Mountains. And guess what one section is? I'm just going to put it out there. Forgiveness.
Mm.
That's one of the main sections, and it's probably the most powerful, just FYI. So yeah, great ending.
Yeah, and I would, once again, unplanned. I mean, but that is awesome, of the importance of all this, how it all ties in. Tommy, you have a great trip, and hang on just a second, because I'm going to get you a swag that won't get you in time, but will get back by the time to warm you up in the Appalachian Mountains. We always give our clients swag, by the way, if you ever
Heck
wonder.
yeah.
We're one of the few podcasts that do that, because we appreciate people's time. This dude's super valuable, and for him to
And
give
thank you.
a
We had
more
to
than that.
reschedule this a couple of times because I wouldn't be in studio, and I wanted to honor like good sound, good light. And depending on where you are, you don't know if that's going to happen. So thank you for your flexibility too, man.
Yep, you bet, you bet. All right. Hey, as we always like to say, wishing you all the very best and measuring your success. Have a great day.